A regime of laws to weed out misinformation and disinformation on social media is on its way. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland is introducing legislation that will give the media watchdog, ACMA, greater powers to pressure tech companies into cracking down on misinformation and disinformation, according to what the ABC tell us today. Russell, everyone's freedom of speech is about to be examined just like the Chinese Communist Party does.
Exactly. I had to bring this attention when this bill first came up to my own party and explain the principles of the Liberal Party when I was a member of the Liberal Party to them and tell them how this offends every principle of the party that they represent.
Good.
I got a phone call back to say this is our answer, and I said, well, sorry. So I wrote to every member of Parliament. I listed all the Liberal Party beliefs, and I said how this. I wrote to every member, all the Labor, or every member, and then all of a sudden, Peter Dutton decided he was against the bill. I don't think this bill's much better. I haven't been able to look at it in detail, but I don't think it's any better. It's an attack on organisations like yourself. It's an attack on the Daisy Cousens show. It's an attack on anybody who was not part of the mainstream government narrative.
And that's the point. The government can get away with blue murder in what they say or tell us and what their narratives are, but all of us, well, we lose our freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
Daisy, the problem with these kinds of laws is, and I say this all the time, who decides what the truth is? Who decides what information is and what misinformation is? And why should they even try? It's just bloody social media.
Well, exactly. And as we see with this misinformation bill, the government denotes itself as the sole source of truth. In fact, at least the last iteration I checked, other political parties, including the opposition, can be done for supposedly perpetuating misinformation, but the government can't. That's the one entity, and I think the media has the mainstream media has some sort of consideration that actually is considered the sole arbiter of truth. And as we saw from the COVID years, the government is the last body you should make as the
Correct.
sole source of truth. Yes, it's completely outrageous. And what's really outrageous, Chris, I read today that in this iteration of the bill, they're going to include political themes under the misinformation umbrella, which means that anyone potentially who expresses a political opinion that the government doesn't like or that goes against the narrative, regardless of whether it's misinformation or just a different opinion, can get done by these laws. I mean, it's appalling that this is being allowed to happen in Australia, of all places.
Appalling is the right word to describe it, and Australians should not sit back and allow it to go through.